What's up, y'all? I just want to start by saying, man, it's amazing, amazing to see everybody. Everybody pretty much a part of this symposium and H2E2, I'm sorry, and that's been involved in these type of discussions. It's just been going on for so long. Like, it's just a blessing to see everybody and to have worked with everybody and just be a part of solutions as opposed to always just complaints and just panic and chaos, because that's what the world is. That's what we in a sense, but it ain't really that different. It's been that way for a long time. I was just joking with a friend of mine, an artist I met at South by Southwest, a young guy who's actually a part of Hip Hop Congress. He's from Rockford, Illinois. I met him at South by Southwest, and I took him under my wing, showed him around, let him stay in my hotel. But we met actually through a connection through Hip Hop Congress. He was like, I'm down with this Hip Hop Congress in Rockford, and I knew this guy. So I was joking with him that when the pandemic hit, it made all the people, the dreamers and the people they call crazy, for once look not insane. Because we try to explain how crazy things can get and how the system is broken and how so many things are already insane. But sometimes it takes something that shakes up the world for people to pay attention and start looking at those type of people as not as off and wild as they think, because it takes wild minds to come up with solutions and face these things. Like I'm gonna start with first of all, my brother Adisha, he was talking about a lot of things I've been through with him and joined in with him as far as hip hop chess, speaking as an artist. And I guess I could be an example of that artist who did show up and who was there and who was willing to bring others. And I know a lot of the artists who were coming through and willing to be a part of things. And, there's a balance. There's both sides of that. And so I always say the first thing is the beginning of activism, it never starts with the program or when you it doesn't start at that moment when you figure out or when you get invited. Like for me, like Rocky, it started from just being a knucklehead kid in the hood with nothing, and poverty, and part of the artist's journey for me was having a voice, and having a voice led me to do more things with my art than just try to make money or make hit songs. And growing up in Oakland, my mom was involved with the Panthers. My uncles were security. My mom did organizing. My mom taught in the hood. My mom did, she empowered women and did stuff with other parents. So I kind of started off, with the mentality of I was trying to live at school. I was trying to survive. Like my school was like a jail. I went to Fred, Castleman, all the worst schools in Oakland. And hip hop was kind of a savior to me in terms of education. Oh, and I'm talking offline education, not a teacher coming in my class from that rap. Although we was lucky enough to have that, we had people like Boots, stopping by, and we had that type of energy in Oakland. But we were lucky to have that. Some areas had that, not all. But just the music itself, and that was an escape for me, and that was something I always saw as something that helped me actually connect with education, or listen to the headphones on the way to school and hearing about something in another city, or something about the jail system, or something about the government, or something about what was going on in politics. Like I learned more about that than on CNN or any of the media we complain about. So I think that just automatically became a part of my artistry. So like a lot of times when I do stuff like when I do things like be a part of Hip Hop Congress, or when I talk to other artists, or even when I speak at some places, now that hip hop education has gotten so mainstream and some people don't really know what it is, people say, oh yeah, that's we need more artists like you, or we need more artists, and then it's like this big thing of going of throwing the hood under the bus, or throwing artists under the bus that some don't even have. They're not even on that level. They're not even to that point yet. But to make it sure that the point is, it starts before before I ever got to a point where I got to do AmeriCorps, or I did things like speaking in juvenile halls, sometimes you don't even know you have that voice or that power to get there. So like it was a process, like the after school programs that I went through in junior high, the music I heard, the opportunities I got I remember being in adult school in Oakland. I didn't get my diploma on time. I ended up I stopped going to English class. I stopped going to history class because I thought it was all bullshit. And I said, I'm better off working. I'm better off figuring out my life, and I'm better off with these rap dreams. And teachers told us a lot of times, like, if you keep drawing and rapping and dancing, like, you just gonna be just like when Biggie had the garbage man joke in the class. And so it's ironic that, like, as my journey went on to AmeriCorps Hip Hop Congress, I kept taking my artistry, my hip hop experience and putting that into education. So when I found the opportunity with Hip Hop Congress, it was like a perfect marriage, because I was actually in AmeriCorps working with kids, and I already had the mentality of, we need to help the kids with the least. We need to go back to Richmond. We need to go back to Oakland. We need to go back to San Francisco. We need to go back to East San Jose, and we need to tap in and go to these schools. And so when Hip Hop Congress started as an artist network, I remember sitting with Shamako and Rial, who was friends with Aloe Black and Oxnard, some of the founding areas. And I remember always getting in trouble every time I would try to bring hip hop into the AmeriCorps programs. I would get in trouble. Like, they'd be like, that's too controversial, or don't talk about that, or don't talk about police brutality, don't talk about how you used to do this and do that, or you went to juvenile hall when you was young. Because I was just like Rocky. I was a pretty good kid, but even as a good kid, with good grades, I ended up in juvenile hall. I went to jail and all that stuff, and I saw a different side of life, and I saw how there is no rehabilitation. It's more of an animalistic mentality. But I saw that first in my hood, in my school, and in the places I went. So when that was presented to me, I remember Shamako saying, well, if we want to see artists, independent artists have a voice, if we want to see independent artists and see our community stop living in poverty, we need to start at the schools. So me and Shamako and a lot of us, I didn't know there was this bigger network. Ramen was in LA doing it at USC. There was a bigger network growing. I didn't realize this, but we started at the schools. We used to go to schools directly and say, look, all these programs we was trying to do in AmeriCorps, we keep getting in trouble, fired, written up. We was like, let's do it ourselves. And we bring our own money, raise our own budgets. And some schools laughed at us, but some didn't. And they gave us budgets, let us come in, talk to high school kids, and talk to elementary kids even. And that same blueprint we kind of used to do in juvenile systems, group homes, and things of that nature. And so as I grew as an artist, as that world got open to me, I started getting those calls. I started getting those opportunities where people would call me and say, yo, can you come speak at this juvenile hall center? Or can you come speak at this jail? Or can you come speak at this program for kids or young people who we're trying to keep out of jail, or who just got out of jail, or who's in this group home and their parents are in jail. So it was like I grew up with family, friends in jail, getting killed. Even artists I rapped with, friends of mine, even famous rappers y'all know, that was part of the story. So it was never scary to me. It was always a duty. And I felt like our elders taught us that, the music taught us that, and it was automatic for me in Hip Hop Congress when I got the call, was to get other artists and put them in. So I used to, just like I remember this older guy, I just actually did a song with him before. I'm in Korea right now. I'm in South Korea. I'm on my 10th day of quarantine right now. That's why I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I probably need to shave and all that, but I just did a song with this guy, and he does like jazz poetry. And I remember I was going through a tough time. I was in America from about February to last week, and my mom's been really ill. I got in a bad car accident. I was really going through it. And I left Korea, came back in February, was getting death threats for no reason, didn't know why. My mom just got out the hospital. My daughter's been struggling with school because of the pandemic, she didn't really get to go to real school. So I was talking to him, and I was saying, man, I've been going through it. You know, I'm glad we're doing this song, this positive song. We did a song, something about, you know, just the state of the world. And I said, you know, it's good when you get those calls. And I said, hey, you know, I remember when you used to call me. I was like younger when he first met me. I was still, you know, growing. And he said he used to call me almost every couple months and have me come in and speak at juvenile halls all around the Bay Area. And his name was Bill. He has a thing called jazz hip hop poetry. It's called True Vibe Records. And we did a Stop the Violence video called Squash It, me and Kelton Music. And it was on TV and all that. And this when I was a little younger, and I was always happy to do those type of things. And but the great thing was, he said, I'm gonna let you get more artists and pull more artists, because I know you do Hip Hop Congress. He was like, I want you to get all the artists you can. And they used to pay us. They used to pay us to come speak. And like it was never about the money. Like I think I used to keep the check. Because when I would do it, and this was in San Jose too, when I was in AmeriCorps, I used to go speak at group homes when we was doing our early youth program. And then I'll go to jail. I get locked up for some, you know, weed, something. And then I'll be in there and meet these people. And then I would meet younger people than me. And I'm like, I'm in AmeriCorps, I rap. And then I'll be like, when you get out, I got a job for you. Or, you know, another thing we used to do, we used to tell the kids or the youngsters or even my friends, I'd be like, if you get in jail and you go on work release, because San Jose had a thing of locking you up for low-level crimes. I never went through that in Oakland, but San Jose used to lock up teachers, grandmothers, you know, like people who couldn't speak English. And so when I went to jail, I used to go in there and start stuff. I used to go in there and kick things off and be like defending like immigrants and organizing. I would always get in trouble and get separated. So when I would come out, I tell everybody, when you get out, I got a job for you. When you get out, hit me up, come to my show, but not to come praise me or buy my album. Come to mess with me. We got a network. And then we start doing it. We did this all around the country. We start moving around and doing this. And so I remember even Roman hitting me, asking me to come speak at the San Bruno jail. And I had spoke there before with Cato. Cato was a good friend of all of ours. He passed away. And me and him used to do this. And we would just go to everybody. And it's like, we would walk up with music, but it's like everybody started to notice. We would always be like, yo, we want y'all to come speak. We would come get Jacka. And every artist came to the Bay, we'll be like, come speak to kids. Come speak. Like I know what Rocky was saying, we didn't always have the clearance to get you in the juvenile halls, but I started being a person I felt people thought they could call that would want to do these things, but not only me, but would get other artists. And what I found was a lot of artists want to do it. It's a couple reasons why they don't. One, I think like with Jacka, we used to sit and talk. And a lot of it was a problem at first because he was like, man, my music's hard, my music's rough. I think I scare people. Like he said, it seemed like some of the college people in Hip Hop Congress, the people, they don't want me here. Like they think I'm a bad influence or I'm a bad guy. So we fought. Like it was like Hip Hop Congress had the college side, and then we had the hood side and the artist side and the activist side. That's kind of like the middle. So we would fight back and forth. And they'd be like, nah, there's some of these rappers, you know, because it's a thing about throwing, it's like if a black girl twerks on TV, it's like, oh, the black community's ruined. If one fight happens, but like when you come from where we come from, it's so bad. You can't be panicking over one fight. It's like, you got to have that mentality to even go into jail and speak. Like me and Roman was talking, he was like, hey, let me call you back, bro, it's getting hectic. And I know Roman gets down. So I'm like, man, Roman, you gotta be ready. Like you can't be scared. But the artist that's the most, that's the funny part. The artists that's the most down are usually the ones who've been in there and from the hood. And some of the ones who, the positive rappers be the main ones who not down. Like when the Jesus was saying, I ain't saying no names, but I'm gonna say the names of who did come through. But a lot of times the artists, like some artists who would talk all this positive and use big words and blame, and they get on the panel and throw every hood rapper under the bus. I'd be like, hey, come through. What's the budget? Oh man, we got a budget, but man, I need boom, boom, I need the bag. And I'm like, okay. But then certain artists, like DLabrie, they would come through. We did DLabrie a favor one time, and they would come through every time. And yeah, sometimes they would get the budget from the college, and we put money in people's hands. But a lot of people, Jack had never charged us. It's just like, man, I want this duty. I want this duty. So what I don't want to talk too long, but I just want to preach the idea of engagement. We need to engage. Like Adisa said, Adisa's on my album. I got a song with him and DLabrie, and I said, do this speech on the beginning, because we need this. I put Jacka on it, Shamako, and then Adisa did the speech. And I said, we need it. But then what I would do, Adisa would, like he said, you would call all these rappers. And a lot of them came through, don't get me wrong. And Adisa goes way back with hip hop. He's a rapper too, believe it or not. He knew Pac and rap, all of it. But sometimes, when I first met Adisa, I was nervous. Like Jacka felt when he came to Hip Hop Congress, it's a little bit nervous, because sometimes these colleges and these institutions, they think we're trouble, and they treat you like that. And not only are you you almost more nervous of that than you are of the jail or of the hood. You're more nervous in the college. You're more nervous when people start asking you stuff, and then some of it be disrespectful. Like, don't ask me what Snoop said. Don't blame me because of what R. Kelly did. You feel me? Like, I'm not him. I'm out here doing stuff for the youth. I'm out here in AmeriCorps. I worked at Oakland City Hall. But when I go to my daughter's school and I try to have an educated conversation with a teacher from the suburbs who maybe ain't used to teaching black kids, and I say, oh, I just got them, they bilingual, they speak Korean, and they speak it's like they want to talk funny, and it's like they kind of make me feel like I'm intimidating somebody. If somebody was thinking, oh man, I can't come around because somebody might judge me, like I was scared of Adisa, I thought Adisa might shake me every time I came around if I had a blunt or something. We got to be welcoming and inclusive when we bring people in, and that's how you do it. Each one if sometimes I gotta call Rocky to get him to get me in and do certain projects, and vice versa. Sometimes he gotta call me, and I say, hey, I got this person that want to speak, or blah, blah, blah. We gotta utilize each other and bounce off each other, because we all got different avenues, and that's all I'm gonna say, and thank you.